Hey everyone, finished watching the first episode of Power Rangers Mystic Force Broken Spell Part 1. Power Rangers Mystic Force's theme is divisive, but I find it a refreshing change after all the rock themes. It also helps Mystic Force to stand out on its own, with its own uniquely different identity. Mystic Force begins with a narrator explaining a prologue. Evil forces fought a war in a magical dimension, trying to break through to the human realm. 5 wizards fought back, locking the evil away in an underworld. In our present, we see a young man riding a motorcycle into a heavily wooded town near a lake, Brierwood. We then meet Vita and her sister Madison. They're having fun with their co-workers Xander and Chip at the record store they work at. Their boss Toby comes in. He tells them to get back to work in his own quirky way. Suddenly, the town is shook by an earthquake. Off in the forest, a book titled Xenotome opens on its own. An evil laugh echoes, followed by a worried voice telling us that evil has returned. A glowing purple light explodes in the forest, and from the explosion steps a purple knight. Back at the record store, the employees are fooling around when they hear an elderly man asking for help. He says his brother is lost in the nearby woods. Everyone is reluctant to help him. Something mysterious is up with the woods. The young man on the motorcycle volunteers to help the old man. Xander steps forward to warn the young man that the woods are dangerous. Vita interrupts, volunteering to help him. Chip follows her lead. From a rooftop nearby, a bat-winged creature watches. She flies into a dark underworld and reports to a massive cyborg. He's muscular and clad in armor, with bizarre machinery pumping on his head. He is Mordecon, leader of the evil creatures that once tried to invade the human world. The Purple Knight steps in. He is Korag. He states that Mordecon is but a servant of the Master. Outside, Xander and Madison join the others in helping the old man find his brother. They walk into the woods and step through a transparent vortex. The old man disappears and a mysterious cloaked figure approaches. Suddenly, menacing creatures surround them. The cloaked figure waves a hand, summoning magical broomsticks that fly the young friends to safety. The young man introduces himself to the others. His name is Nick. The cloaked figure appears, and they run into a hollow tree shaped like a dragon's head. They find themselves in Rootcore, home of the sorceress Udonna. She tells them about the war in the magical dimension. Evil has begun to escape the underworld, and she is looking for warriors to fight back. She shows them the Xenotome. She believes that the 5 of them are the ones prophesized by the book to become Power Rangers. She hands them each a magic wand. A young woman rushes inside in a tizzy. Udonna vanishes, and the girl introduces herself. She's Claire, a sorceress in training. The 5 want to leave, but Claire insists they wait for Udonna to come back. When they don't listen, she tries to cast a spell to freeze them in place, but it backfires and turns Claire into a sheep. The 5 friends leave, leaving their wands behind. They run through the forest and come upon a campsite. There's people there, but they have wings and green faces and pointed ears. Udonna appears and explains that these people were from a woodland village decimated by the escaping evil. A giant appears. Udonna tells the others to get out their wands, and they respond that they left them behind. Udonna then morphs into the White Mystic Ranger and battles the giant. More hostile creatures show up. Xander tries to talk to them, but gets attacked. The 5 have no choice. They fight back against the monsters. Udonna yells to the 5 that to use magic, you must believe in magic. Chip says out loud he believes in magic, and suddenly lightning shoots from his arms, taking out the surrounding monsters. The others follow his lead, each unlocking a magic ability that pushes back their attackers. Udonna defeats the giant and saves Nick. Nick had tried to unlock magic abilities, but apparently he doesn't believe in magic enough. The others agree to work with Udonna, but Nick chooses not to. Korag suddenly appears and attacks. This premiere is incredible. The tone and visual style is unlike anything we've had before in Power Rangers. The opening prologue sets up some cool, intriguing mysteries and has a cool backstory in its own right. The Rangers are likable enough here. We don't get too much, but they're all established pretty quickly. Nick is an aloof altruist looking for something in this new town. Xander is a laid-back guy who'd rather talk than fight. Chip is an excitable guy who loves stories of heroes. Vita is a joyful punk who loves music and doesn't like the color pink. Her sister Madison is the only one who doesn't really get that much revealed. She likes recording with her camera, and she's loyal to her sister, and that's about all I can get out of her. We get another ranger here, Udonna, the White Ranger. Mystic Force is especially unique to begin with a White Ranger as the leader, the first since Delphine back in Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. She has some past connected with the prologue, but we don't know the extent of it yet. We also meet some of the side characters, Toby, the quirky boss of the record store, a stern but friendly guy, and Claire, the frazzled apprentice of Udonna. I like all the human characters so far. The villains get very little focus here. Mordecon is just a loud, growly guy. He looks cool, and I wonder what the machinery in his head is for. Everything is so traditionally fantasy-oriented, so him being a cyborg is interesting. How and why did he end up like this? Korag is another growly guy, not much to him yet, though he is shown to be loyal to a mysterious master over Mordecon. Necroli is a bat-like woman that reports to Mordecon, and she's a spy to the human world. There's so much set up here, like the Xenotome. How deep do its prophecies go? How much will it reveal? How much information does it contain? I love the exterior design of Root Core. The interior is fine, but cramped. It reminds me of Ninja HQ from Ninja Storm, but more colorful. The old man in this episode is played by Bill Johnson, a New Zealand actor. And there's an interesting bit of trivia with him I'll talk about in the next episode. Mystic Force has some of the coolest monster designs of the whole series. The Hideacs are suitably strange with their fish-like eyes and external teeth. The fantasy creatures of the woods aren't seen much here, but they are pretty neat from what we see of them. A strong beginning for Mystic Force. We are now firmly settled into the Disney era. The creative team present here will mostly be solidly involved until RPM. I'm very excited of what's to come, so that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.
After all these years, I'm free.